So, well, if you were here at that time, then you must maybe remember something about 1922 when they had the big strike in Windward.
Yeah. Then they moved. They went to, because Strijkveld, tournament, every runner.
Were you one of the people who got evicted?
Yeah, they got evicted. Strike. Because Strijkveld tak zmagament lakni,
22nd Street?
Yeah, with somebody.
Every place.
People took them in.
Yeah.
They were kicked out of their house.
Go ahead, she's going to the bathroom. Mikormentek valami.
Oh, parachutes.
Parachutes. That she talks about. So.
Parachutes. De oda mentünk az orvoshoz.
That's where she went to the doctor and everything. Parachutes.
Did you write that for me?
Let's figure out how you spell it. Like a parachute. Parachute.
Egy gyomrom még a
P-H-R-A.
G-L. P-E-L-C-H-U-T-S.
Maybe she could write it. Maybe she write?
No, she does, but I don't think she can.
It's close enough.
Oda mentünk, mikor beteg volt a gyerek, vagy valami.
When the child was sick or something, they walked that far to this place, which was like milyen messzi volt Magaitól.
Vagy 2 óra.
About two hours they walked.
Ooh,
From
pretty
their
far.
village. Yeah.
Pretty far.
To take the baby to the... I don't know if that's right, I just...
Okay.
Pronounce that, see what it sounds like to you.
Pelchits, I don't even know Hungarian pronunciation very well, so I don't know. But, could you tell me anything you might remember about 1922 then? What did you do after you went to 22nd Street then? Did you have to leave the whole town eventually? A lot of people went to other towns.
Mondtam, hogy 3 days you would go out.
In 3 days you had to go.
Oh.
Where did you go?
Well, I remember she went to...
Was
it those people's place?
Emiron.
Then they went to Amiron. He got a job there. It's outside of Warrensboro. It's a small community.
Akkor onnan minden kizé.
Then they went to
Ohio.
Ohio, yeah, that's
Youngstown,
Youngstown, Ohio.
Kapontai.
Yeah.
What kind of work did your husband get in Youngstown then?
Milyen dolgokat csináltak a Youngstownban?
Meg az outside munkát.
Some kind of outside work, she doesn't remember.
He not can work in a mine.
Oh.
Because of union.
Because he was union, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you come back to Windward then? Did you move back here?
When I come back, he go again in a mine.
Mikor finish volt a strike, akkor jött vissza, vagy meddig voltak ott? Egy évig, vagy mennyi?
No, van. Youngstownban voltunk. Couple months.
Couple months. Do you remember what year you came back then? Was it
Őszem,
a long time?
visszajöttünk.
Nem tudja, hogy melyik év volt az?
Ó,
Már kiéltek, hogy...
Mikor
Már volt több gyerek?
Mikor a strike volt.
Volt több gyerek akkor already?
De Bezi volt kicsi akkor.
Oh, well, then that was quite a while then, because we were
Bezi
born.
volt kicsi. Szóval vagyok.
No, az nem akkor volt, mam.
Bezi volt kicsi, mikor Youngstownban voltunk.
Youngstownban? No. I think you... She's very younger than all of us,
Én
Mom.
itt születtem a Margit házalban.
De az a strike volt 1922-ban, Mom.
Hát, ne?
No, Bertie's too like that in 1928.
She might not have come back until then.
No, she said they only stayed there a little while. I remember she always talked about it.
I forgot.
She's
my-
sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Don't worry. No problem. So how many kids do you have all together? Did you have all together then, Mrs. Repko?
9. Oh, you want her to say it?
Yeah, sure.
Vagy mennyi gyerek volt?
Yeah.
9.
9. Wow.
She's my baby. She's 15. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had 9. How many boys? How many girls? All together.
3 boys and 6 girls.
3 boys and 6 girls. Did
No husband. I raised myself.
oh, because your husband died.
He was
killed in the mines.
Oh,
Oh boy. Your husband was killed in the mines? Is
Yeah.
that right? In an accident? Which mine was he working in?
36.
There's mine up here.
Used to be, is not anymore.
Oh boy. I don't suppose that you got very much in those days of anything,
She
if
got
anything.
$35 a month for eight kids. Was it 8 kids?
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Because Irene was of age already, wasn't she?
No, Iron wasn't 16.
No.
Was she?
At
Yes,
that
she
time, when
was.
you got compensation, they gave it to you up to the child was 16.
I see.
And all of us kids are 2 years apart, so every 2 years they cut off of that
I
35.
see.
And you had to go look for a job already.
35 and 25 and 36.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Did you ever keep boarders, Mrs. Repko? Besides, you have such a large family, I don't know where you would
No,
put them, but
she
some
didn't.
people seem to.
No.
Yeah, in them
Yeah.
days they did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, I think like it.
Yeah. It must have been hard trying to raise the girls by yourself then.
No,
Yeah, boy. Did any of your sons become minors then?
No.
No?
No way.
I don't suppose you wanted them to be. Yeah.
everybody was going to work at 16.
It's
All my
16.
kids.
Yeah. What kinds of jobs did they get?
Two boys go, one boy go on a Navy, another one Air Force.
My brother, my brother, older brother, well, he's retired already from the Navy. He was a lieutenant commander. And my other brother works for the
The
civil.
International.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But he doesn't work in New York. He
He's
works
a big
in
shot.
Atlanta. He's a big shot.
Well, he had that job in the service. He was in the Air Force. He worked on the tower, directing the planes. And then when whenever he got discharged, he got the same kind of job. And since then, he worked himself up. That's, 30 years ago maybe, huh?
So what did kind of jobs did the girls get then if they had to work at 16 around?
Stores.
In
I got
stores?
in the Eureka store. I didn't have no problem. I worked there. And then in fact, the 3 of us worked in the Eureka store.
I see. Oh.
In them days, you didn't have to graduate there.
No, I know. I
It wasn't
know.
like. And my oldest sister, she went to New York to work.
Yeah, most of the older ones were sent off to New York to work.
Did they have relatives in New York?
No.
How did they decide to go then? Did they have some kind of person to contact?
Well, they had like,
There must have been some kind of an agency or something.
because these people wanted maids. That's what they
Oh,
wanted,
maids
maids.
and nannies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They were.
Because she'd come home and bring that little boy home.
Yeah, there were always little. I mean, the whole heritage in this whole area. When you talk about ladies that are in their 70s, and so they were all sent off to New York to work when they were 12 and 13 years old.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Wow.
It was a different
Trying to-
world.
Yeah, it certainly was.
She's tired. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
she don't
anybody
want
gets
to-
too much out
that's
of her
all right.
anymore.
That's okay. I know.
There's another go for you.
So, Mrs. Repko, did you go to the Lutheran church here in town then?
No.
No.
No?
We went to Reform, because there
To
was no
Reformed.
Hungarian church here, there was Lutheran.
I see.
So that was
Okay.
the only Hungarian Protestant church in the area.
Was your father a Reformed?
No,
member?
both of them were Lutheran.
And then, so they were both
I think it
Lutheran.
was probably the German influence. I think they were, because of the part they were born in, I think it was the German influence.
Mhm.
Because we often heard in this town when we were younger too, that if you're Hungarians, you should have been Catholics. But apparently a large part of Hungary is Lutheran.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's not viable anymore. Is that the church that burned down?
That was the
Yeah,
Reformed
The
church
Reformed
burned down.
church that burned
Yeah.
down. And,
We belonged there until
Till-
till I was 16.
uh-huh.
So and then we switched.
It had a viable congregation at one time, I guess.
Oh
then.
yes, very much so.
Mhm.
So,
Of Lutherans and Reforms, it was sort of split half and half.
When we'd get communion wine, half would get host and half would get wine. Or
Uh-huh.
you know, 'cause
Whatever it
the
was, it was
Uh-huh.
split up.
uh-huh.
But it handled both congregations very well.
Hmm.
But basically, it was a Reformed church, so
Mm-hmm.
then a lot of people left at that time.
Yeah, there was
Right.
nobody left already, so the church, it kind of broke up, like, and they had a priest come in even, they didn't even have
Right after that, they
And then like now, some of them still do belong, they go to Johnstown.
Oh,
You know, there's no longer.
See, I lived in the parsonage when the church burned down.
oh really?
Mhm.
Yes, and the reason we moved from the parsonage actually was after that they took over part of the house for their church.
Oh,
And
I see.
they took my living room and my dining room, so
Oh,
say
wow.
we moved.
They use it for office.
But see, we had the church we had the house on mod, like we kept the church clean and things like that for them. It was sort of It was connected with the church.
Mhm.
And then when the church burned down, actually we wanted to buy the house very badly, and we rented on an option, but when the church burned down, we let it fizzle out, because they needed it.
Well, since I'm talking to you, could you give me your full name so that they're on here? So, and maybe I'll.
My name is Helen Wargo. Repko Wargo.
Repko Wargo.
Not Wargo, Vargo.
Oh,
Vargo.
Vargo. Okay.
We've got a lot of Wargos around here, and I'm not one of them.
What's your first name? I'm thinking.
Helen.
Helen. Okay, I didn't catch that. And what's yours?
Julia
Okay.
Orlovsky, O-R,
Uh-huh.
L-O-V,
Uh-huh.
S-K-Y.
She's a Russian.
Yeah, my husband was Russian. I
Oh.
belong to the Russian church.
Oh. So, well, and were you both born in Windber then?
Mhm.
So,
Everyone was.
All one. We were all one.
oh, okay.
Except for the two that were born in York. Everyone else was born in
So you remember what it was like being the daughters of of the original immigrants. Can you tell me something about that? You two, what was the ethnic kind of were the ethnic relationships like? Did Hungarians sort of, first of all, did you learn English right away, or did you speak Hungarian at home?
They all speak Hungarian. I don't speak Hungarian. I understand it all as if it was English, but I don't speak it. They said I did when I was young, but then my sisters, when we were growing up, especially in my era already, it was something to hide being real poor. It's not like it is now, where everybody's anxious to hear. Years ago, you kind of hid it, and my sisters wanted me to speak English, so I didn't speak Hungarian. You know, they wanted me to speak English, and so slowly I couldn't speak Hungarian anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They insisted that they talk English around me,
I see.
because at that time it was very hard when your parents were of foreign descent in this town. That was the wrong side of the track.
Yeah, that's
You know, no
Mhm.
matter what it was, that was the wrong side of the track.
Did you feel that at school too, or any other places?
You
Or?
still get it here in school.
Oh, yeah, you get it here still.
If a
How were the relationships among Hungarians with Polish people and Hungarians with?
They seem to get
Within
along
the
better.
area.
Neighbors didn't fight like they do now.
My mother couldn't speak Polish, and so she could
She
speak
speaks
Slovak.
Slovak
and,
real good.
Wow.
Yeah, see,
Uh-huh.
Mondta, hogy mikor előre egy jöttidi, hogy volt mindenkivel, hogy mindenki veszekedett egymással, az mindannyiunk nem úgy, mint most. Everybody had a lot of kids and they didn't have any money, and they used to have a midwife. There was a midwife up the street.
Oh.
My mother had every one of her kids delivered by the midwife.
Oh, you had a midwife.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? Who was this? Was somebody?
Mary, her name was. Mi volt Tóth? Volt a neve. Baba. Mrs. Tóth. Yeah, I remember she lived up there. Yeah.
People didn't go to the hospital for those things.
She never
No?
went anywhere.
No.
nobody did, I don't think, at that age. Especially, you know, in this kind of background.
And another thing that's a funny story is, my father wanted sons, you know,
Uh-huh.
and my mother had, first she had the one son first, and then she had 5 girls were born after we had the 2 boys.
Right.
And the midwife hid it from my father for days, because he wanted sons and my mother was having girls. They wouldn't let him see that it was a son. When she did have the son, they kept teasing him for days about it, kept it hidden.
Oh boy. Everybody had large families.
In them
then.
days, they wanted sons only, you know,
Yeah.
especially the men. And every 2 years, she had a daughter.
Then he's like, you got a son, you die.
Mm. Did he die in the war? World?
No, he had enlarged heart. He died
Oh, dear.
just in his sleep.
Baba was 40 years. Baba was 40 years, and I was 2 years.
Mm.
That was when my father died, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you belong to any fraternal societies? Hungarian
They belonged to the lodge. They had a lodge.
lodge?
Was, vi volt a Edlet meg a neve? Edlet. Mi volt a neve? Edlet. Mi volt a neve? I forgot already.
Or William Penn?
Yeah.
William Penn or
Yeah, it was William Penn when they originally changed it to English, but she used to call it something else.
And was Mrs. Modo. Mr. Hermoso.
Yeah, me go to Edla. Well, they have 8th Street, down 8th Street, they used to have.
Yeah, but that was just a